Hi there vlog, and welcome to the DailyG number 12, December 12, 2017. I will continue the story, and the story was left off when I finished walking Camino de Portuguese from Lisbon in Portugal up to Santiago in Spain, and then out and finishing in Finisterre, one of my favorite places in the world. And after that I went back to Denmark for a few months, and during that time I decided to go on my next adventure, which was to New Zealand. New Zealand had been sort of a country that for some reason had been speaking to me while I had been in my last period of time in Guatemala in Spain. One of the reasons was that you could get a working holiday visa there, so that would be fairly easy to, just like in Australia and Canada, go there and work and so on. So I was pretty comfortable with that idea. Although my financial status at the time was not the greatest, I went to first actually Barcelona for a few days, for some days in Barcelona to visit some friends, and then I went off to New Zealand. And when I arrived in New Zealand, I had around a bit more than 1,000 New Zealand dollars. So that would be a little less than around 800 euros maybe. So not much money, and I got to work right away. I arrived, and Peterson, who I met on the Camino in Portugal, greeted me, and we went to his place for some days, and then I went down to Queenstown, which was my original destination. And I've gotten a contact from my friend Stefan, who lives in Perth, and who basically was one of the people who inspired me to start traveling. And one of his friends at the time ran a hostel in Queenstown, which is sort of the adventure capital of the world, where you can do all the adventures that you can imagine, from skydiving to river stuff to bungee jumping to everything. Very small town, but it has everything. And I stayed at the hostel there, and during the first period of time I really hustled to find work and to get my life going there. And it was interesting because within my friend Leighton there, he was both working at the hostel, and then he was a guide at a fancy resort out in Glenorchy, which was sort of a very small town, I think 30 plus kilometers away from Queenstown. And through him I actually got, after 5-6 weeks, I got a job out there as a gardener. And during that time I had gotten a private gardener work through an agency in town, and helped an older couple with their garden. And during that time I fortunately got hired at Aroha, which is a really fancy, top 10 fancy resort in the world, and had an opportunity to become a gardener and a maintenance guy there during the week and also the weekends. So that was fit in well. I could stay at the place, and yeah, just a really beautiful place. New Zealand is an amazing place. If you ever have a chance, go there. I definitely didn't see enough during the time I was there. So all in all, I spent so that was in early November. I arrived in New Zealand, and I stayed at the Aroha resort from during the mid part of December until March. So, and I left New Zealand the end of March. And one of the reasons was that during the initial part of that year, I wanted to take the next steps. I was sort of tired of traveling, and the next step I felt was to pursue an education, which I thought at that time would make a lot of sense. which was the KS Pilot Education, which is an international business school that is both in Denmark and in Bern in Switzerland, where I am now. And I only applied for the one in Switzerland because it made the most sense to me, even though they were very much alike. There was just something about it that made more sense to me. So during the first period of time, those 3 months in New Zealand, I spent applying in terms of writing my application and so on, and got accepted during the time I was still in New Zealand, because if I didn't, then I would stay or do something else. So I got accepted, and then I had to go to an assessment workshop in Bern in Switzerland in the end of April. So I thought that would make sense to head on over to Perth in Australia and go up to my favorite place, one of my favorite places in the world, the farm, Myara Valley, and help out again and see some old friends from Perth, including Stefan and other people connected to that farm and family. So that was awesome getting back there, and then after a month in Australia, I went to Bern, first to Italy, to Milano, and then took a train to Bern in Switzerland for this assessment workshop for the education, and that went well. I felt that was the place I should be, and then went back to Denmark, and during my flight home, actually, or in the airport, I got a call and was accepted into the education, so I knew that was set, and then went back to Denmark for the summer. And my goal for that summer was to have the best summer in the world, and it actually became one of the best summers in my life. So I will go on with that story in the next video, the next DailyG, next vlog, tomorrow. So I hope you like this one. Subscribe so you get the videos right away, and I will come up with a lot more. I just got a really cool product today, a nutritional product, and it's sort of a 30-day, I think you can use it for 30 days, and I'm gonna make videos with that because it's something I would like to try out and see how it is, and maybe that could be a value and a product that you would like to use as well. So got some ideas in the air, and a lot more will be coming your way. So until then, ciao for now, and all the best to you.